Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan. Joining me today is Greg. Greg, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
This is Greg. Greg's the one who has been handling the spreadsheet for everybody, the Google document throughout this entire month of December. So every day that a new video has gone live, he's been the one updating the spreadsheet with new information, including what the pour is, what score I've given it, so that this has just been a nice cohesive thing going throughout the entire month, which has been really fun. So this is the capstone to our advent calendar of whiskey here in the month of December. Big shout out to my community and Greg who set all this up, because I have remained blind as to everything I have tasted. So all 24 pours, which are done, I tasted blind, scored them blind, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe pour 10, Greg, was the one that had the highest score overall. We'll go through all these one by one, but I believe that was right.
8.5. 8.5.
Yeah, gave that one an 8.5. So the scoring system, by the way, just a quick recap of how we handled this. This isn't my normal scoring scale. I decided to do it something I think is just maybe a little bit more manageable for a blind series, where we just do a spectrum, 1 to 10, where 5 is just truly neutral, where I have no strong feelings about whatever it is I just tasted. Anything above that is in the range of I like it. The question is, how much do I like it? And then conversely, anything below that would have been like, this is not my jam, don't care for it. The question would be, how much do I dislike it? So that's how we handled it. And we had nothing that I disliked. And I think it's because Greg, you know the spread, you know the pours, I don't know the pours, but I would assume it's because people wanted to send in good whiskey.
There are several that wanted to send in good whiskey, but at the same time, they wanted to give you a few curveballs from their shelves.
Sure.
We had seven pours, 8.0 plus.
Yeah.
But we've only had one in the 5 realm, and it just dipped into it at a 5.8.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's been a phenomenal setup. And seeing the banter that's been going on, watching the videos, everyone has been eating it up.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
There are some that you've knocked out of the park, and then there are some that we're going, what, wait?
Yeah, I truly do appreciate everybody who sent stuff in, and nobody spoiled anything for me. I did have one of the guys, Matt, in the Discord texted me one day and told me that I was, he said, you're kind of like Babe Ruth right now, because sometimes you'll swing big and you'll nail it. And then other times you'll swing big on a guess, and you're not even in the same ballpark. Like, it's just a colossal miss. And I'm like, you know what? And I kind of wanted to do it that way anyways. I kind of wanted to just go for it, because I think it's more fun that way. Instead of trying to toe the line and be really conservative with my guesses and things like that, I think that makes it more fun. I feel like I scored things pretty fairly. Just in the moment, the way I was liking it and what I was in the mood for at the time, and we could do this again, the exact same pours next year would be hilarious. And do me blind again and see how I did. And I could do things way differently. There's so many variables. But I do want to say, just for the capstone thing here, I do have 3 more pours that we're going to be tasting as we go through this spreadsheet, and Gray will reveal to me what I've been sipping on throughout this entire month. These are just for fun today. These are not part of the competition or anything, but I will, just for fun, taste them, nose them, score them individually, and at the end he'll tell me what these 3 have been as well as we work through the spreadsheet. So I'm going to go in here and start nosing glass A. But Greg, looking back on my notes, the very first day with pour 1 of December for the Advent calendar, I gave that one a 6.8. And I think that was a pretty conservative score. I think I said so in the video, because I feel like I was trying to set a baseline. Because every time you set your first score, it's because everything after that, you're comparing back to that one and saying, was it better, was it worse? So I wanted to be a little conservative with it and not swing too high or swing too low.
It's definitely a benchmark.
Yeah. Was it a literal benchmark?
No.
Okay, because it could have been. I don't know. I think I have an empty bottle down here, but yeah, could have been a benchmark. I don't know.
And that is a good bottle to have. We legitimately considered throwing you some curveballs with all of this, just to have some fun with you.
Yeah.
But we ended up playing it on the up and up. It started out, honestly, being a push to see how many hazmats we could get in there on.
Trying to kill me?
Well, that's one of the reasons why calmer heads prevailed, and we didn't end up trying to kill you because we wanted to keep things going, and you
Yeah.
had to participate with life. So,
Well, I appreciate that. I get, by the way, I'm going to throw this out there. Pie crust on the nose of glacé. My mother-in-law likes to whip up really quick pies because she hosts every week, every Saturday evening, with very few exceptions. I'm at my in-laws' house and my mother-in-law's cooking. But there's lots of grandkids in the family, so she's making quick pies because she's usually works all day on like the entrees. My mother-in-law's like a pit smoker. She's smoking meats all day, but she does want to have a dessert for the kids. So a lot of times she just buys like pre-made pie crusts and then fills them and bakes them real quick for an easy dessert. This reminds me of that. Those pie crusts that you get from the store that are already in a foil pan of some sort on the nose.
to break your concentration,
Yeah, go for it.
day one, your guess was a Bardstown.
Was it? Is that what I said?
That's what you said because that was 3 minutes and 23 seconds in.
Okay.
So you had a chance to nose it, you had a chance to taste it. It actually was Doc Swinson.
Really?
Alter Ego's triple cask finish, cask strength at 114.6 proof.
Interesting. I don't think I don't think I have ever pulled the trigger on one of those. I mean, I had to have had a pour before, at bottle shares and things of the sort. But I don't think I have ever pulled the trigger on having one myself. So I said like white chocolate, a little bit of coffee grounds, toasted pecans, buttery toffee, or some of the things I wrote down. Is that fairly consistent with what you know of the brand?
To be fair, we would have to ask Jerry C.
Okay.
Because I've never had this myself. But from the feedback that he was providing, it sounded about like, yep, he nailed it. Okay.
Okay. Well, good. We'll take it.
Start out day one.
Thanks, Gary.
Rocking.
And then the next day was a really close score. We said 6 point. I said, not we. I said 6.9. So basically, like very much in the same vein as the first day in terms of how much I liked it, but maybe just a slightly more, huh? I wrote down Tennessee Rye for that one.
Yeah, your guess was a JD Rye at 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
What's the verdict on that? How close am I?
You didn't say the score. The score was a 6.9.
6.9.
It was a 6.8 the day before. It was actually Austin Nichols Wild Turkey 101, 8-year, 1984 handle.
Really?
And a Dusty on day 2.
Dusty? Really? That's wild.
Now, there were some people that were asking if you were going to be holding any of these whiskeys back, so that way you could go back and sample them again.
I did not. So I don't have any left over.
One of the reasons why.
Oh, sure, because it would be fun to do that, wouldn't it?
So that's one of the things that we were talking about in some of the comments, as well as on the Discord, about trying to ask you to do a 1 ounce pour instead of the 2 ounce pours.
Yeah.
And then that way you could go back through now that you would be aware of things.
Yeah. I didn't do that because I did actually have some that were 1 ouncers as well.
Yes.
And that would have.
We did ask for 2 ounces to be provided. Unfortunately, some of them people didn't have the 2 ounce bottles available.
Sure. Well, and then also I also totally understand people not like 2 full ounces out of a bottle you love. I mean that's a big ask in some cases, And so I totally understand that. I want to be clear. I'm not like stingy about that or upset that I ever get a 1 ounce sample. I think 1 ounce is a totally fair amount of whiskey to get a full impression of it. So
exactly. But again, that's one of the reasons why there was the question and the ask.
Yeah. So that was a Dusty Turkey, huh?
Yep.
I said burnt marshmallow, wood fire.
So it doesn't surprise me though that you got the JD Rye, because the whiskeys and bourbons were so different back then compared to now.
Sure. I gotta apologize. I'm just now realizing this. I'm recording this video. I have my headset on because I need to be able to hear Greg in the Discord. And you might notice that it is being held together by tape because my son broke it. I let him game down here the other night, and he accidentally tried to walk away too far from the computer, and it fell off his head and broke it. So I put a new one on my Christmas list. But I was like, in the meantime, I'm putting tape on it to hold it together. So I apologize. I have not acknowledged the blue tape on my head yet. I will add to my tasting note or my nosing notes of a glass A here before I taste it, but it does make me think of also like coffee cake and some of those baking spices, like your cinnamon, your brown sugar, allspice kind of a vibe going on as well. Well, thank you very much for the dusty pour. That's pretty cool. The following day, day 3, I gave this is a big jump in score for me. At this point, I hopped up to a 7.9. This one I had said like cinnamon apple fritters or apple fritter donuts, and I wondered if it was maybe like an American single malt. Specifically, I was thinking, if I remember correctly, I was thinking Pacific Northwest on this, like maybe Westward or Westland.
You called out a Westward special release at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and you're 100% right.
Yes!
108.5.
Okay, which one was this? I'm sorry, from them?
This is Westward Milestone 3.
That was the Milestone 3. Okay.
When
I
you called that out,
yeah.
It was like, holy cow, this is not going to be as much fun now because he's 2 for 3. Doing really well with 2 for 3.
Did things eventually go downhill?
It got a bit bumpy for you.
Yeah.
We'll get into that though.
Okay.
But the score was a 7.9 on the Westward.
Yeah, that was a strong pour, no doubt. And it doesn't surprise me with it being the Milestone, because that has traditionally done really well for. I think there was one time I did a blind where the Milestone did not make it in the top 3. But this one, without having any of that context, just tasting American single malt, that was giving me that apple fritter vibe. I really liked how playful the pour was. And I think that apple in particular is a note that always goes well with barley spirits.
I do need to apologize. I forgot to give credit for pour 2, Jamie W.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate you.
And pour number 3, day number 3, was John.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start sipping on this because I'm thirsty. But as I do, we move on to day 4. That one I gave a 6.6. I said butter pecan. I thought maybe it was a rye I was also getting some like rum notes as well on that one. Huh? And it's like old-timey pharmacy candies.
And at 1 minute, 15 seconds was your guess of it being a rye. And you were correct. Jeff submitted Filmland Spirits Rise of the Robots Extended Edition.
Rise of the Robots. I like that. That's fun.
117.5 proof.
Okay.
And the bottle looks hilarious. If you've seen any of the Filmland Spirits, they do a really good job of setting that stuff up.
Good call. Oh, that's such a fun, playful label. I like that. Rise of the Robots. That's great. This is giving me some delicate... I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Glass A here. Some delicate cinnamon. And I'm actually thinking of... there's a bit of fruit sweetness to it, but it's not... my initial thought was cherry, and I was like, no, that's not it. And my mind moved to like dehydrated cranberries, like craisins that you would put on like a salad, something like that. I love those craisins. Tail end of the palate, it dries out a bit, like wood tannins set in and dry things out a bit, which I don't mind. And it leaves me with like, a long vanilla bean finish. That's fun. I like that. Day 5, I gave a 7.0. My notes were peanuts, coffee cake, and I said a little bit of trail mix as well, which is funny because that gives me dehydrated berries as well when I think about those trail mix notes, which I'm also getting on this pour right now. But if I remember correctly and my notes served me properly, I thought this one gave me strong Booker's vibes.
Well, it gave you Booker's vibes as well as ECBP vibes.
Yeah, that's right.
Like back to back, 2 minutes 10 seconds and 2 minutes 30 seconds.
Okay.
So you were on the fence with that.
Uh-huh.
Day 5 was actually submitted by Anthony.
Okay. Mr. Welsh.
Elijah Craig, Novi Party Store pick.
Okay.
At 127.3.
Okay. Little Elijah Craig private barrel.
Yep.
Love that. Well, that was good. Thank you so much, Welsh, for sharing that. I mean, it's hard to beat Heaven Hill's private barrels, regardless of what they are. I don't know that I've had like a bad... Well, that's not true. I have had a bad Elijah Craig barrel proof private select before, but it was like one of the generic Total Wine ones, and
Oh,
I didn't care for it. But all the ones that like my local stores that I really like to support have always ended up being really good. But I gave
same
that one a
here.
7.0. The following day, day 6 was a 6.5. I said biscuits, a little bit of instant coffee. I got like this honey nut playfulness that made me think of baklava, which is a S tier dessert. But I don't. Did I give any guesses on genre or?
You said American single malt, not a rye, at 1 minute,
Yeah,
and at 2 minutes and 10 seconds, you said American single malt gone rogue.
gone rogue. Okay,
That was submitted by John as well.
okay.
Westward Oloroso Sherry Finish.
Aroso Sherry.
Westward Club Release.
All right. Well, and that surprises me that I didn't note any fruitiness on it. I got the genre right, but I didn't pick up on the Oloroso Sherry. My notes are all honey and nut, coffee, and a little bit of salty brininess with some fun. Well, I said funk, and I guess it's a bit of a stretch, but I do tend to think of barrel funk with some of your like fortified wines or distilled wines. I think those things go hand in hand often. But I'll take getting the genre.
You hit it well.
The following pour came out swinging. This one set like a new high at the time, but I gave day 7 an 8.2.
At 1 minute and 20 seconds, you said, whoa, and then went into a very long story of why you said whoa.
Yeah, I got a little long-winded with some of my stories, didn't I?
It was fantastic the way you were able to help us understand where you were drawing.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm not sure everybody stuck around for the almost 2 minutes of it.
Yeah, that tracks. Totally
At
understandable.
3 minutes and 30 seconds, though, smells like a rye, and then you went through your description. And at 4 minutes, you said tastes like hazmat.
Mm-hmm.
And you were 100% correct.
Okay.
I submitted this one.
Oh, that's right. This was a U one.
So this was from Journeyman.
Oh, really?
It was a farm rye barrel pick by Indiana Bourbon Club, 155.6 proof.
Holy smokes. That's nuts, dude.
And it looked like motor oil, but it tasted and drank about 120 proof compared to what the 155.6.
I would never have guessed that high. I mean, I thought it was proofy, but I didn't think it was 150 plus. It's wild.
And I know more than a few people that have crushed those bottles.
I am going to, I'm thinking about it, I'm going to land at a flat 7.0 for Glass A tonight. Because this is really approachable, really likable. I find myself specifically wishing I could hang on to more of that bitter berry note in here. But it's kind of a one and done. I am left with all things I like, but I find myself missing the thing I got right when it hits the tip of my tongue. Does that make sense? All things I like, but I want to bring the things I love about it along for more of the sip.
We can roll into day 8.
Mm-hmm. I said cherry cordial, peanut butter cookies. Yeah, 7.7 on that one. Pretty good score.
And you said it reminded you of an E.H. Taylor barrel proof. At
Did I?
30 seconds.
I didn't write that down, but I trust you.
And you were way off base. Was not a bourbon at all. It was a whiskey.
Okay.
JT Millick, 6-year.
That's JT Millick.
Yep, 110 proof.
6-year, 110 proof. Okay. Interesting. I said cherry cordial. I normally get a big grape note from JT Millick. A lot of grapiness.
Well, everybody remembered that you enjoyed, I believe everyone enjoyed during the bottle share.
Yeah.
The JT Millick that I brought in.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why it had to be there.
Scored really well. 7.7. All right. I'm going to move on to B as we continue moving forward with day 9 that I gave a 7.2. It said wood shop, cinnamon Teddy Grahams, and peanuts.
I do want to step back for a second. Want to thank Doug for sending in day 8, DMC himself.
DMC sent in the Millick?
Yep.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. He's good people.
He's actually the one that came up with the idea to put this together.
Really? What a G.
So back to day 9.
Back to day 9.
Your notes, you considered off the nose, quote unquote, pursuit stuff at 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Then you went kind of beamy with a little extra punch at 1 minute 30 seconds.
All right. This seems
That was a 7.2.
familiar.
All right. So on day 9, kind of beamy, you were spot on. It was a Jim Beam, Legion, Yamakaze, Cask, Finish, Blend at 114.
Interesting. This is Trevor.
Yep.
Yamazaki, you said. I do like the labeling on that. That's pretty.
They do really well with Beam Centauri with their labeling.
I think that beam profile is pretty distinct, and that definitely jumped out to me. I wonder if the deviation into some of the cinnamon and graham and wood shop is the influence of the collab there, which is ironic because I gotta say on Glass B here right now on the nose, I'm getting a lot of like that same wood shop, like sawdust in the air, iron bound in leather, tools. There's a underlying sweetness that makes me think of honey. I've been working with honey a lot lately with some of the cocktails I've been making for folks that come over during the holidays. It's one of the I make my own honey syrup at home. Mix it up with some of the local honey. It's making me think of that honey standing over a pot of boiling honey and water. Beautiful nose on this, by the way, Greg. Whatever it is, thank you. But moving on to day 10, this one set a new record that would go undefeated. This was an 8.5. I gave this one on my notes. I said banana pudding, Nilla wafers. I said there was like a delayed proof sucker punch where it starts really sweet and then just out of the blue is like, whoa, bam, and hits you with a big proofy punch. And then I finished on tons of oak sugars and banana, and I loved it. I gave it an 8.5.
Now, but at the same time, you did not give a guess. You gave a lot of notes, like you just said, but you gave no guess whatsoever.
I did not.
At 4 minutes, you said we were playing to your palate. We might have paid a little bit of attention to some of your previous videos. So this was graciously given by Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Old Potrero.
Oh, California, San Francisco.
Uh-huh. Single barrel rye, 10-year, 8-month, 100% malted rye, barrel proof, non-chill filtered.
Malted rye.
33.6.
So the barrel, 24-month air dried, fine grain, New American oak, Old Potrero, straight rye whiskey, malted rye, right?
100%.
Love that. Non-chill filtered, single barrel, reserve. What a dark horse.
Yeah.
A 10-year-old malted rye at 133.6. Big proof on that. Well, kudos. I love when a dark horse either finishes, podium finish or takes the gold. That's always really cool to me. So thank you so much, Robert, for sharing that pour with me. And if any bottles are still available, I know a guy who might desire one. I just got to say that one just came out. I love banana notes on whiskey, and it brought the banana. I love complexity where the sip feels like it has development, right? Where it doesn't hit your palate the same way it leaves. And that one took me on a bit of a journey, and I really enjoyed the progression of the sip. So a lot of things to praise about that pour.
It definitely stands out because you gave so many notes, but no guesses.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't think I was thinking of anything. I don't think I was nailing it down. If something did come to mind, I would have said it. So the fact that it evaded, my knowledge is also kind of fun. Maybe that could be one of the factors in why I enjoyed it so much was the mystique, right? The mystery there.
Oh, you nailed the dark horse under the radar across the board on that one, though. It's like, I don't know what this is, but I like it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, apparently.
So on to day 11,
Uh-huh.
giving it a 5.8.
This was the only fiver. Um, if memory serves, I think the thing that dropped it into the fives for me was the finish, because I think I said like a chloroseptic spray.
Uh-huh.
I liked some of what was going on up front. Some pineapple, smoky brininess, and I liked the tropical fruit note that was hitting me early in the sip. I just didn't care for the way it ended. I liked the sip overall, so it was above a 5. I wasn't true neutral on it. I did enjoy it overall, but I think that I just didn't like where it took me. I liked where it started, and I just didn't care for how it ended. I got plenty of movies and books that do the same thing to me, so I'm used to that sensation. But yeah, that's where I went with that.
And you also stated that it gave you a peated scotch vibe.
Okay.
And you were 100% on the nose.
Okay.
Doug, DMC again.
Yeah.
Lagavulin, Offerman release rum cask finish from 2024. 11-year single malt scotch.
Yeah. That's funny. I was literally talking about that exact bottle with my buddy, Kale, who's also in our Discord, who was at my house today and yesterday and the day before that. But we were going through he's a good friend of mine. He lives very close, so we hang out a lot. But we were actually talking about the Offerman edition just yesterday, and I told him, I said, I really liked the, because I did a video on my channel of the Offerman editions, and I preferred I think it was like the double oaked one, like the twice barreled edition, and I didn't so much care for the rum cask finish. So it's interesting that I was consistent on that.
And that was part of the fun of it, because you know he was behind the scenes,
Sure.
knowing everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And inside, just giggling so much.
That's great, actually. Well, part of me was worried, if I can confess to you, Greg. Part of me was worried that someone was going to slip in that Yellowstone single malt that I still, to this day, people remind me that I said that it tasted like a used gym sock.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly just waiting for that to come back around one day. Like someone's going to try and pull one over on me. The thing that's funny about it is I retried that one in a live stream blind and said the same thing. That's why people were so tickled over that note. Is because that one has come back around one other time, and I was like, "This is awful. This is like a sock," and they're like, "He did it again."
There's that note that you pick up, just like the sulfur note for some people.
Yeah, that's right. I gotta tell you, the nose on B is opening up very nicely. That woodshop leather, and now it's also adding a sweet layer to it that's making me think of almost like an orange blossom tea, which I'm appreciating. But moving on to day 12, we jumped up a few points on my score. That one hopped up to a 6.3, which is still pretty comfortably into the I like this range. I like this. I said it reminded me of Peeps, the Easter candy. I also wrote down.
You're no longer an Easter candy.
Yeah, wrote down honey butter. What? Oh, I think I likened it to like going to Texas Roadhouse, and they've got that cinnamon butter, that whipped butter. Yeah,
that caught a lot of people's attention.
Yeah.
So this was generously given by Trevor.
Thanks, Trevor, for another pour.
Middle West Napoleon Calvados cask finished cask strength.
Okay, the Calvados from Middle West. Middle West for me is normally kind of hit or miss. And the things that I like from Middle West, like, I really, really like them. Like, the Pumpernickel Rye is always good. The port finish is always good. I can't recall if I've ever done the Calvados. Are you aware if I've done that on the channel?
You have not.
Okay.
My recollection.
I didn't think I did.
One, soft red winter wheat and dark pumpernickel rye whiskeys, aged 4 years in American white oak, then finished for 1 to 2 years in Napoleon Calvados casks.
Okay.
So this is a newer release from what I understand.
All right.
And I may be completely off base with that, but from what I understand, it is.
Okay. Yeah. Comfortably into the I like it, but I don't think that it stood out to me as a real front runner. I do wish it. I think this is one key takeaway that for next year, I will make sure that I save at least like even that much just to in a shot, just to revisit real for a one quick hit in the reveal. Well, actually, one of the biggest points of feedback has been we don't need to do a big reveal at the end. Why don't I just taste it, score it, and then reveal it in the same video? That's been. So I'd be interested for people to provide additional feedback. That's one thing that we have heard from people is that there's no need to wait all 25 days before I find out what these have been. I can still give my authentic score after I nose it, taste it, score it, and then just immediately then look at what it has been and be like, oh, okay, and then react to it in real time. So if you have feelings about that, eat one way or the other. If you like this setup, like we're doing right now, or if you prefer to just, just get it over with, rip it off like a Band-Aid, and let's find out right then what your reaction is. I totally understand both perspectives on that, but feel free to weigh in on that conversation in the comments of this video or in the Discord.
Okay, you ready to take a sip?
I am. Let's do it. I'm going to call that a delayed detonation. Like that hit my palate, and I'm like, where's the flavor at? And then it was like a full 2 seconds later, it was like, bam! And it brought a lot. I do think the honey I was getting on the nose, I get a big honey explosion, but it's like honey mixed with, right? It's honey and cinnamon, like a honey glazed cinnamon roll or something like that. Or what really makes me think of? Have you ever had those cinnamon rolls with the orange icing? Have you ever had those, Greg?
Yes.
That's what this is making me think of. Little bit of citrus, a little bit of cinnamon, and sweet baked bread. My brain is desperately reaching out right now, by the way. It's like trying to make a connection. Like, I had something like this before. What is that? And it's like running through the list.
And I'm trying to give you that space because I see that in your eyes. At the same time, we got to move on.
Yeah.
Day number 13.
Yep.
7.8.
Yep. Big score.
Scored really well.
Yeah.
At 2 minutes and 35 seconds, that's a rye. This person understood the assignment. That's a rye.
Oh, this was the you nailed the assignment pour, wasn't it? That's right.
Uh-huh.
I said yellow fruit, toasted oak finish, white peppercorn, colored within the lines very well.
As well as the story of you back in college.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Having to redo the assignment. Yep. Dr. Conrad.
So this was generously given by Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you.
Baltimore Spirits Company, double toasted barrel 5-year rye.
Double toasted barrel?
Yep.
I said toasted oak finish, didn't I?
Yes, you did. BSC's birthday release from 2024. It's a 5-year-old rye, and it's 100% rye. No barley, no nothing. 100% rye. And it comes at 120.6.
I say I'm looking at the pictures right now. I like that bottle. That's a really fun bottle design. I like the red wax up top, the sort of silver pendant right in the middle of the bottle there. That's fun. I liked that a lot. Thank you, Jeff. These are some of the ones that really stand out to me in retrospect is these dark horses, right? I love when a craft distillery brings something unique or brings something that really stands out. This isn't against it at all. I always try to make this distinction. Like I have nothing against people who source. I have nothing against NDPs, but there's just a different level of respect that I have for somebody that crafts their own spirit from scratch and nails it. Right, distilled, aged, and bottled for the Baltimore Spirits Company.
Now, speaking of nailing it, day number 14.
Yeah,
score of 8.4.
I did not nail this one, did I?
1 minute and 30 seconds. Noses like stag.
Yeah.
Brother, you were the furthest thing from nailing this.
I will say this. I have to confess, this is the one pour that got spoiled for me, but after the fact, though, not before I ever made guesses, but because people were so tickled by how wrong I was that it was in the general chat of the Discord.
Yes.
And so I knew my blunder right away after posting that video.
But hey, you stepped in and you owned it.
Yeah, that's right. Which I think is
And that
actually, I think that's actually kudos to the real distiller. Because if I am a craft distiller and somebody tastes my whiskey and goes, "That's gotta be Buffalo Trace. There's gotta be some Stag right there." I'm through the moon. I'm like, yeah, all right,
stepping up, playing with the big boys.
that's right.
So with that though, did you actually find out what it was?
So they said it was. I was told it was like Coppercraft or something. Is that right?
No. Virginia-based Filibuster Distillery. Triple cask sherry finish, barrel proof. 5 year straight bourbon whiskey from Virginia and Indiana, non-chill filtered. Brotherhood of the Barrel Pick
What a
by Anthony.
fun! What a
Anthony
fun
sent that
model.
in.
I have to confess, I have never heard of them.
No.
I'm not familiar with them at all. Filibuster Distillery, distilled and bottled by Filibuster in Virginia. How fun. Brotherhood of the Barrel. So they must be East Michigan over where Anthony is. Because I've
I
never even
believe
heard
that's
of
where
them.
the group was from, yes.
Hey, well, kudos to those who did the barrel pick, and kudos to Filibuster because I mean that is tied for second place in this entire thing.
It speaks volumes.
Yeah. Dark cherry makes sense when I'm thinking of sherry casks. That I would get like a dark, deeper, richer berry like that. Cherry with sherry being a fortified wine that tracks. But I wrote down cola, toasted meringue, and tobacco. Those are all really good notes. Like I was riding high on that pour.
Not only that, but there was a triple finish.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you got that phenomenal blend.
Sure.
So day 15.
Yeah.
At 1 minute, it was a score of 8.1. So another heavy hitter.
I called the wrong Melic.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
2 minutes and 15 seconds, you called it as a Melic, and you were more confident about that one.
Yeah.
Not as confident as a Stag, but you were
I think
confident.
if memory serves, it took me a while to get to that, but once I got it, I latched onto it hard.
You are correct, sir. Because at the 1 minute and 10 seconds, you started the nose and taste, and you were chewing on it, you were dancing around it. But at the 2:15, you latched onto Melic, and you rode that pony all the way.
Yeah, grape jam, Cabernet, macadamia nuts. I said it had a great finish that made me think of it finished like a Cabernet wine, where it's those tannins set in, kind of dries things out. But yeah, I really liked that pour. 8.1 score on that one. That one scored very favorably. What was it? What's the verdict?
You have Trevor to thank for this one.
Another Trevor pour.
Heaven's Door, Homesick Blues Minnesota Wheated Cask Strength. It's a 7-year Minnesota wheated bourbon, cask strength limited edition small batch release at 122.7 proof.
Okay. 100. Wait, what was the proof again?
122.7.
122.7.
It sounded like it was a lot lower, or is a lot higher proof than what you gave it credit for.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that high. That's why I'm chewing on that thought. I really enjoyed it. I mean, anytime I get those, I love a good dry red wine. Anytime I get those kinds of notes, I'm gonna walk away feeling happy. The macadamia nut there as well. I like that note. But I certainly didn't peg it as a wheater. I did think it was. I think I had the thought of this doesn't taste like a traditional, like a bourbon, like a corn spirit. It's not giving me rye vibes. It's got to be something different. And I think that as I followed that rabbit trail of a different grain, that's when I got over to the rice spirit Louisiana vibe.
Yeah.
So I think that my brain was at least correct in saying I know what it's not, but I didn't nail the but what is it? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. It's like there's a problem. Let someone else diagnose what the problem is.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
Yeah. It's so fun to be able to do that with your own palate, though. And flexing your palate's muscles, so to speak. And you got to be wrong sometimes. You got to be wrong frequently if you want your palate to really grow and develop. Um, and that's what makes doing experiments like this so enjoyable. Part of me wishes that I could do it like have 3 at a time, like do day 1, 2, 3 in one video, and then 4, 5, 6 in a video, because I think that those differences are so much more pronounced when you are having them side by side with other things that are different. And that's where those distinctions really become more apparent. Does that make sense?
True. Very true. And that leads back into the discovering what it is that day.
Mm-hmm. So that was 15,
With
correct?
that was number 15.
That was Heaven's Door, Homesick Blues. And that was the Trevor one?
Yes.
Thank you, Trevor. I enjoyed that one. Obviously, it scored well. We had a good run, actually, because it was 7.8, 8.4, 8.1, and then day 16 was a 7.7. So we had a lot of high marks in a row there.
Hitting on all the cylinders there. But with that, day 16, day 16.
Mm-hmm.
At 40 seconds, you took a nose. Malty, not bourbon. You're right.
Yeah.
At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, homebrew with a very long description.
Of the Vorloff? Yeah, the Vorloff rabbit trail. I heard about that one.
And at 4 minutes and 20 seconds, Speyside Scotch or Japanese.
Yeah. And I said a little bit of a watermelon kind of a vibe too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this was by Jamie W.
Okay. Second one from Jamie, correct?
Yes. 86 proof.
Okay.
Glenfarclas, 40-year single malt Scotch.
We take those.
You hit that one on the head.
That was
especially
a 40-year?
Yes.
40-year? Are you freaking kidding me, though?
Yeah. Straight up.
So that's a Highlander. That's insane.
But the beauty of you going through and weaving the Scotch and Japanese and telling some of that backstory.
Yeah.
That so many people don't understand.
Sure.
Don't know. That was a great way to tie that in.
Yeah, and after I scored it, I thought to myself, like, I know I dubbed that as probably a Scotch, but I scored it higher than I would score most Scotch. Because I like Scotch, but I don't tend to love Scotch. So I walked away from that one thinking that's got to be an impressive Scotch that I gave it a 7.7 in this thing.
Uh-huh.
Because most Scotches would probably score considerably lower than that for me personally. So kudos, hats off. That's great.
Yeah. Jamie, he sent a pipe fitter for you. He sent a hitter.
No doubt. Thank you, Jamie. That's got to be. I appreciate that because I know that some of those bottles are just so special. You want to share them, but you're also a little trepidatious about it.
Uh-huh.
So I really appreciate your generosity there. Thank you. You ready for my score on B?
I am, sir.
I wrote down a couple minutes ago, and I've been chewing on it ever since, and I think it's fair. I think I'm going to go 7.4. It's just a little bit, I like it a little bit more than the first one.
That's fair.
Not a lot of bit more, just a little bit more. I'm going to move on to C. Start nosing this one, which is distinctly different on the nose than the last one. You're going to be like, I sent him 3 pours of the same thing. What an idiot. As I'm nosing this, though, I'm looking at my notes. Go ahead.
Would one of us do something like that to you?
Absolutely. And I would hope that you guys would do stuff like that to me from time to time to keep me honest. You have my full permission to troll me heavily. You guys have already proven in the few years I've been doing this channel, you have proven that you can spoil me. And I love it every time. But you also have my permission to prove that you can troll me, that you can mess with me. We're at that level of the relationship, okay?
I believe we did that with the Jack Daniels rye.
That's true. The double JD rye.
Uh-huh.
And the BMI bottle.
Toasted and
mine still won. Yeah, you gave me the distillery release, right? You gave me the distillery only. And then Matt sent in the same bottle. It's Beat My Bottle, right?
Same bottle, different barrel.
Same bottle, different barrel. And I still picked mine. That's funny.
We're not above trolling you.
I'm just saying, I'm not the kind of guy to take that personally. I would think that that's pretty funny. Day 17, I gave a 6.9. Nice. I said powdered sugar, white mocha, a little bit of honeysuckle, which always goes over well with me, by the way. I love that combination of floral and like sweet nectar, honeys, things like that. Nougat and roasty barley notes. And I specifically wrote down that I was really impressed with the mouthfeel on this one in particular. Said it was really oily and clingy.
Crisp and clean.
I've had some girlfriends like that. A little clingy.
Well, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
A story for another video.
I will say, knowing the notes that you said and knowing that we were raised in similar areas, it hit home. So
good.
I could understand and appreciate where you were, having honeysuckle growing in my backyard, having the understanding of the flavor notes that you were pulling. And I wasn't the only one. Others were appreciative of the notes that you were able to pull, but at the same time, others aren't as familiar with with that wildlife, that
same flora.
Yeah. I'll tell you this though, pulling honeysuckle from the backyard, it gave me good memories.
Good. Same.
So day 17 was sent in by Craig.
Craig?
I call him. Give last names.
Oh yeah, Craig, California Craig. There, I'll go with California Craig's. I'm not trying to oust you like that.
With the 6.9 though. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Redbreast 12-year cask strength.
Ooh.
Batch 1/11.
Ooh.
2011 bottling.
I like Redbreast.
It was a mix of Oloroso and bourbon casks.
Okay.
At 115.4 proof.
I said roasty barley, which would make sense for it being a barley spirit. Nougat, honeysuckle. Okay, white mocha. I don't think I named any fruit notes, did I? I don't have any in my notes.
No, you didn't.
But I enjoyed it. When it comes to Irish whiskey, Redbreast is up there for me. In fact, my buddy Kale was over the other day, and we were talking about Irish whiskey because he recently took a trip out there and did a full tour of like the Jameson facilities and stuff. And I told him, if you like Jameson, have you had Redbreast? He said, I haven't gotten around to trying Redbreast yet. I said, what are you doing? You got to try Redbreast. I told him one of my favorite videos that I've ever done was, and I'm spacing on who it was. I should go back and look. It'd be an easy Google search, I'm sure. Somebody sent me in a full like distillery review kit for Redbreast, but it was almost exclusively their limited release top shelf offerings. And it was one of the most fun videos for me to record. So it's like, I'm getting spoiled with obscene pours after pour after pour after pour after pour. And it was a really fun video to record because of it. But it was a full Redbreast, like, limited release video. And I had a blast with it.
On to day 18?
On to day 18. Can I just say real quick, though? This is giving me banana runts on the nose. Glass C. Back when, do they even do runts anymore? I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, when was the last time I saw runts in a store? I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're still out there, but I don't see them very often. I also get that circus peanut candy, which is one of my favorite things to pick out. I don't get it often, but when I do get it, I latch onto it, and I really appreciate that. So banana runts, circus peanut candies, and a lot of like fragrant oak on the nose of this. Okay. Anyways, we're on to 18, correct?
Yes.
7.1. Milk chocolate, 7.1. Caramel, Swisher Sweets. I remember that. That's right. I talked about my brother in his Swisher Sweets phase. And I think at the end, because of that sweet tobacco wave, I took a swing and just said mid-shelf Kentucky Legacy Distiller.
You did. Uh,
You did, which
with
sounds to
nose,
me,
candy bar with Swisher Sweets, mid-shelfer Legacy at 4 minutes.
yeah.
You were thinking ECBP or Heaven Hill.
Uh-huh.
You gave a price guess at 5 minutes and 30 seconds, so this is one of your longer videos.
Yeah.
At the same time, at 6 minutes, you called out Brian.
Oh, did I really?
Yes. It was from Brian.
I think that was because of the size of the sample, because he always sends me like 4 ounces.
Oh, yeah. You referenced the sample bottle, all right? And it was a Jim Beam product.
Okay.
Little Book, Chapter 9, None for Granted, at 121.8 proof.
Chapter 9.
This year's release.
Do I have that one? No, I don't own this year's release. I actually saw it recently, but they had it at $250 at the store, and I was like,
What?
no, I'm not doing that. I also understand that there's another side of that where some small town guys, because of the way distribution is handled, they have to buy X number of cases of a certain product that they know
Yes.
won't sell very well in order to get access to the more allocated bottles. And that's an issue with distribution. And so I understand that sometimes their investment cost is pretty big just to get those bottles on their shelves. So they need to mark them up to offset their investment. And part of me understands that, but it's the delivery method that sometimes doesn't sit well with me. Like if you're just honest about that, I'm happier with it. But if you're gonna guilt trip customers, that's an entirely different thing. We're getting off topic. I'm getting off topic. There's no we. It's me.
Another video for another day.
Another video for another day. Which one were we on?
We just talked about day 18. Now we're on to 19.
Now we're on 19. So 18 was the little book.
Yes.
And I said mid-shelf Kentucky. So I was off on that. I was right with the legacy distiller thing, but I was off on the mid-shelf nature of it. I would say that Little Book is an upper middle.
Officially, some would disagree with that.
It depends on the release.
Yes.
For me, at least.
For me, 9 compared to 8 beats it every day.
But we're on a 19. Sweet tobacco, butterscotch, coffee grounds, black licorice, tea leaves, cut lumber, 7.5. Pretty good score.
Solid score. You did a great job of also plugging the Discord and how much we've been laughing at you behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The main thing that really stood out was the story time with the flooring and the lumber at 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yeah. My dad was here this weekend. My parents were here. I told this story. Yeah.
So that was a great time down memory lane. Mm-hmm. For those of us on Discord, we'd seen those pictures before.
Yeah, that's right.
At the same time, it's a beautiful, beautiful property and great work that your dad did.
Some of the guys in the Discord have been hosted there before, by the way. Some of the guys in Discord have been there. My parents have opened up their home and hosted us when we were on our way down to Kentucky once.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So are you ready for the release?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, Jerry C.
Gary, by the way. It's spelled like Jerry, but it's Gary. Just a heads up.
Okay, Gary.
Yeah.
Gave a Bardstown Woodsman Market single barrel finish rye, finished in toasted cherry wood and oak barrels at 127.2 proof.
Okay. So barrel picked Bardstown Origin Juice, their rye, their green label.
Yes.
Cool. Yummy. Scored well, doesn't surprise me because Bardstown's Origin distillate, whether it's their wheated, high wheat, or their high rye bourbon, or in this case the rye, it always goes over well with me.
Oh, their ryes are phenomenal.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate you, brother. Banger.
On to 20?
On to 20. Let's just keep it rolling. Yeah, 8.4. This one scored very high. 8.4. So tied for second place. Southern Pecan Pie, Boozy Warehouse, Maple Orange Peel. Yeah, those were my notes.
This was literally a last-minute entry.
Yes, because the bottle arrived and there was a message that said, take the old 20 and throw it away and put this one in instead.
And I 100% agreed with that. And I was glad that this was able to show up.
Uh-huh.
Randy was nice enough to give this one. You did 30 seconds diving straight in. And at 55 seconds, you gave one of the best quotes of the entire string, of the entire series.
Okay.
You compared it to a ravenous cougar.
That's right, the cougar. The cougar comment. There it is.
At 150, you gave Oak Funk Rickhouse on the nose.
Yeah.
At 255, the taste was something where you just kept going and going and going, but you did not mention one key factor.
What's that?
When you hear this, you'll know it.
Okay.
Jack Daniels Tenured Hill Special Release 2025 Rye, 134.1 proof. You never
I never
mentioned
gave a
rye.
genre. Yeah. Never said the genre.
You gave a whole lot of notes, but you never said rye. And that caught people's attention.
Okay. That's on me. I think I was just too wrapped up in the in the tasting. Just enjoy. I was vibing with it too much. JD single barrel special release, Tenured Hill, 134.1 proof. Dynamite. Dynamite pour.
Have been looking for this bottle, so the fact that we were able to get it in for you spoke volumes about the community.
Well, and I got to give a shout out to Randy, because Randy is just one of those guys that is just so generous. Like, anytime he gets something that is the kind of thing people will murder other human beings for, he's already asking the question, like, who needs to try this? Who should I send some of this to? Yep. And I've always appreciated that about Randy. He's just a wonderful human being and extremely generous. Passionate about this craft, passionate about being a whiskey collector, but also passionate about sharing it. And I've always loved that about him. So thank you so much, Randy. Appreciate you. He'll be actually here in my neck of the woods in a few weeks. So we'll get to connect. He's going to come, and he's a big fan of New Holland's juice. So he's going to come out here for one of the releases they're doing. And we're going to connect. It'll be great.
On to 21, or do you want to do some more? You want to start taking a taste?
Yeah, so I took one short sip, and I will just tell you up front, whatever this is, I like it the most tonight. I get a lot of charred sugars, burnt sugars. You may pick up themes with me. I have some sort of, I don't want to call them like placeholders, but there are some tasting notes that I revisit from time to time. Because I go down these trails where I'm like, it's sweet, but what kind of sweet? Is it confectionery sweet? Is it this fruity sweet? Is it candy sweet? Is it? And then one of the other trails that I branch off to is these burnt sugars. And once I get to burnt sugars, I'm like, brulee? Toasted marshmallow? Like, you know what I mean? There's like, it's like a whole tree that you go down. This one to me is down that burnt sugars tree, and it's more like that top layer of a creme brulee, which is the best part of a creme brulee, right? You get the sweet vanilla bean pudding underneath, but that's that top layer that you crack with the spoon, and you just scoop off that brittle layer on the top that's sort of that browned yellow color. That's what I'm getting on the palate of this. And I always love that note. So that's why I'm appreciating this right out of the gate. I'll offer some more notes, but in the meantime, let's talk about 21. I said graham crackers, eggnog. Ooh, yeah, I did. That's right. Sweet foam. It had a tangy sweetness to it. And then I even ended with a finish that, I think it was actually the transition into the finish that gave me this quick blip of like chili pepper flakes, like dehydrated chili peppers. And I gave this one a 7.0.
Yes, you did. TJ was nice enough to send this one in. Very generous human being.
Thank you, TJ.
Bardstown Single Barrel Woodsman's Pick. Different pick than what Gary sent in.
Okay.
Because this was 121.2 proof.
That's funny.
Where Gary's pick was 127.2 proof. And I had to double check.
And to be clear, this isn't the rye. Just to be clear for those who are listening, this is the white label, so the high rye bourbon, right?
Correct. Which kind of gave me a bit of a chuckle that you were getting the more spice
Uh-huh.
off of the high rye bourbon than you did the rye.
Yeah. Well, and a big factor there, and I guess this would be my question, is do we have age statements on those? Those two?
Uh, I do not.
Because that would be my first question, because spice on a rye to me drops off when it's aged longer. But a high
True.
rye bourbon often keeps that uh so rye whiskey or rye grain in a lot of the whiskey writers that I like to read from, Lou Bryson in particular, when he talks about the grain itself, he talks about how rye as a grain is very adolescent like. It's got attitude. It can be difficult to work with. That's why you might hear distillers talk about how you got to keep a close eye when you're mashing and fermenting rye, because rye has a tendency to bubble over. It can rupture containers and cost you lots of money, in equipment repairs. It's an adolescent grain. And even like in the actual grand scheme of the history of Earth, even it is an adolescent. It only started popping up, around the times of like Pliny the Elder. And when he first described it, this is like ancient history. When he first described rye, he was like, "This is basically something you would only eat if you were starving to death." He was like, "No, we use barley for bread and stuff, and not whatever the heck this thing is." He's talking about rye. He's like, "This is like only to avoid starvation." And rye is sort of, it's got that adolescent nature to it. So anyways, it hangs on to that when it's in a bourbon, right? High rye bourbons, I think, tend to bite and have a little bit of that pepperiness that is preserved through the aging process, where, an actual rye whiskey was predominantly rye, a lot of that bite ages out and it matures quite well, and you get those mature yellow fruits and honeys that come forward more as the pepperiness softens out. So that would be my first question. Between these two bottles, we got the single barrel rye and then the high rye bourbon, both from Bardstown. So it's the same grain in different quantities and probably different ages. And I would wager to guess that the single barrel rye probably, what would we give that one, a 7.5? Is that what it was?
Uh, Day 21 was 7.0.
No, but what was the single
No,
barrel rye? Was
I
that?
apologize. The single barrel rye was day 19. That was a 7.5.
Yeah, that's right, 7.5. Um, that one might have aged out some of that bite.
Makes sense.
Anyways, I go on rabbit trails. I know this about myself. I hope that it is at least sometimes entertaining. Thinking forward though to 22, I
Yep.
loved this pour. Um, Speaking of memory lanes, this one took me to a very very specific place with my time in Hong Kong, and specifically to this street dessert that this old lady would sell from a cart called Gai Dan Jai. And
Yes.
I loved revisiting that memory as a tasting note. I have never in the history of my channel or in the history of drinking whiskey have I ever referenced, I don't think, Gai Dan Jai. So that was fun for me.
It was an amazing story.
By the way, the
It was
pictures, I looked up actual pictures of the actual locations, including the park and the very koi pond I would go sit at when I ate Gai Dan Jai. So that picture of that koi pond isn't just a stock photo I found. I literally went to Google Maps and found a picture of the park that I would walk to when I was eating my Gai Dan Jai. So that is all authentic.
But I will tell you, Robert will be pleased. He's got to be pleased at being able to bring back those memories for you,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to give you such a rich memory lane travel.
Yeah.
Because with a 7.7, you scored it very well.
Mm-hmm.
You did a phenomenal job of giving us the backstory and the food comparison from the nose.
Yeah.
Your tasting was at 5 minutes and 55 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Coy Hill Rye, but you wanted more proof.
Okay. Reminds me of like a Coy Hill rye, but wanted more proof. Okay.
So this was a backbone pick. Old Dragon Bones, 20-year Tecate blend.
Really?
Yes.
So this
Canadian
is
rye finished in new charred oak, Oloroso sherry, and rum barrels
very interesting.
at
So this is a
134.8.
so for those of you who don't aren't familiar with take, it's T8KE. If you're not familiar with what that means, take is the basically the guy that heads up r/bourbon, the Reddit that is all about bourbon. R/bourbon really took off. Their admin team grew, and eventually they got to the point where they had enough support from users on the website to start going out and doing barrel picks. And Take has been doing like a lot of blending, and these were some of the most accessible early barrel picks for people who got into whiskey, especially around like the COVID era. Like a lot of us started getting into whiskey when we were on lockdown. That's like the time where the take picks were really starting to get popular. So if you were just getting into whiskey and you could go to the store and buy stuff, but you wanted to try a single barrel, like a barrel pick of some kind, you heard people talking about barrel picks. These were some of the most accessible. You would just join the Reddit threads and sign up for their newsletter, and in the newsletters you could just click. They would say, "Here's the 3 picks we have coming out this month." And you could say which ones you were interested in. And then they do a lottery system. These were some of my very first barrel picks ever on my shelf were r/bourbon take picks because they were so accessible. I didn't have to go to a store. I didn't have to go out there and ask somebody what kind of a pick they did and who was sent on the pick and all that business. I just knew that taking the boys were going out there trying whiskey all over the world and picking their favorite barrels, and so it was very consistent and easy. It was actually a great way to try whiskey from places that aren't local to me. So I was able to try stuff from the west coast of the United States in single barrels, and it was great because of that. I was able to expand my palate. So I will always appreciate Take for that very reason. But that's who that is when you see Take on something.
I know you've been thinking on that pour in your hand.
Correct. Brulee sugars. There's a heavy barrel char note to it as well. Like if you told me this was a heavily charred barrel and then finished in a toasted barrel after that, I would believe you.
Let's move on to day 23.
Okay.
I won't ask for your score on 25C until we're at the end. All right?
Okay.
Day 23, 8.0. At 155, you started going into the nose because you were giving a wrap up of everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
And bringing people back in, saying hey to the Discord. You've been very gracious with thanking me for the organization. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
With that, you went into a 2 minutes and 45 seconds taste. Big Proof Holiday Tea.
Yeah, this was a fun one. I love that holiday tea.
Yeah, this was a late entry.
Spiced fruits, yeah.
Uh-huh. So we knew this was going to be a late entry because the generous Matt.
Oh, this was Matt. That's right. Yeah, this was the last one to come in.
Sent in early that, hey, I'm doing this. I want to bring this bottle to the table for this event.
Okay.
He went to Heaven Hill and did the Elijah Craig BYO Barrel Proof Rye.
Oh, the bottle your own rye.
Yes.
Okay.
At the brand new open distillery that they've got over there at their facilities. This was the only way to get this barrel bottled, was through the barrel your own.
That's awesome.
proof.
Okay.
10-year.
10?
10.
Okay, time out. Hang on.
Oh, no. Hold on. I apologize. 10 barrel batch. I apologize. But
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you for a second. I took my headset off to go get this bottle.
I apologize. 10 barrel batch.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay.
So that's on me. But it was labeled as an Elijah Craig BYO Barrel Proof Rye batch year 7 to 5. So this was this was set up in July of this year.
Now, I'm looking at my tasting notes.
Yes.
Holiday tea spiced fruits. I think I referenced apple and cranberry in those spiced teas.
Uh-huh.
This is truth be told, my favorite bottle that I own. Period. This is my favorite bottle on any of my shelves. Is my Parker's Heritage 10-year rye. This would be similar, right? But not the same mash bill. But it's still Heaven Hill rye with age and proof, right there.
Very similar juice.
Yeah, what's the proof on the BYO?
132.
I mean, that's like 3.2 proof points away from this one. That's very close. So it is no surprise to me that I got similar notes and enjoyed it a lot.
You enjoyed the dickens out of that one.
Yeah. That was a fun. That was a fun pour. Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate that submission. I don't think I gave any guesses, did I?
No, you were enjoying it too much.
I was just having too much fun with it.
So with that, we've got Christmas Eve, day 24.
Can I give you my score of this real quick before we wrap up the final one?
Sure.
7.9. 7.9. The only thing I think would push us into the 8s for this scale would be if it had a little bit more of that bassy richness, like your molasses. That's being very nitpicky because this is really yummy. I like this a lot. I don't know what this is, but I like it a lot. Giving me a lot of mature and barrel char notes, bourbon. Or
I will be happy to share with you what that is.
Or Tennessee whiskey, I don't know. A corn distillate.
Well, let's get through day 24.
Let's do it.
I'll be happy to tell you what day 25 is.
We ended on a high note because day 24 dropped an 8.3. That put it top 4. Yeah, top 4 pours.
Yes.
Top 4 pour.
Top 3, 4. Yeah, because you had 2 of them that were 8.4s.
2 8.4s. Yeah. Kansas City barbecue was a really fun note to get on this one. That tangy, smoky barbecue. But also, I said marshmallow, banana, and then specifically I latched onto this smoked paprika as well.
Yes.
Really fun, playful pour right there. And specifically, I do recall this one made me think of JD. I was thinking of the JD10, JD12, JD14. That's kind of the vein that I felt like this was falling into for me. Eventually I said, maybe not 12, maybe the 10 or the 14. But that's kind of where my head went. So lay it on me. What's the verdict?
Well, to go back, you mentioned at 35 seconds it was a very dark pour. So you knew there was some age there. At 45 seconds, that's when you started bringing up on the nose the JD12, JD14 vibes.
Mm-hmm.
3 minutes and 30 seconds, you said on the taste, it's not 12 because it's missing the tobacco and the leather.
Yeah.
With that, DMC, Doug, third pour, Wild Turkey, Russell's Reserve 15.
Ooh, this is
0.2 proof.
Okay, this is RR15.
Yep.
You know, if we're talking about the cosmic scale, I was really close. Cosmically speaking,
you said
Kentucky and Tennessee are really close.
You said very well aged, and you could tell that off the color alone.
Yeah, that's a dynamite bottle, man. Just dynamite.
Doug sent some heavy hitters.
No kidding. Doug's good people again.
Honestly, everybody did.
Yeah, Doug has I have found that DMC's got a palate very similar to mine. We like a lot of the same things. Yeah.
I've heard that from him as well. So with that, ending on 4th place, though, a Russell's Reserve 15 from all the samples that were sent in.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah. I mean, a pool of 24 whiskeys is not small. That is a very large sample size. Anything that ends up in the top 4 or 5 is impressive from that sheer volume of pours there. You know, a lot of blinds are just 4 or 5 pours. So,
True.
yeah.
And
Big
of
shout
that,
out.
you had 7 of an 8.0 or above.
Seven.
7.
Seven is really, that was the final count. I I recorded all of these in order except for one. So the one that was out of order was the Pour 20. The 8
Yep.
point. That was the last one I recorded. That would have been, I had already done day 24 at that point. So when I finished, I think, I don't know if I edited it out or not. I don't recall because I want things to be I want to maintain continuity. I think when I recorded the finale, I said as an 8.3, this will put it in the top 3. But then the next day, day 20 pourer showed up on my doorstep, so I recorded that video,
Right.
and no longer was the Russell's Reserve in the top 3. It dropped down to the 4th place. So I think I had to edit that out just to keep it continuous. Just that comment alone. But anyways, yeah, there were some heavy hitters. I mean, the Tanyard Hills in there. You got the JD or the RR15. You got even the red breast that was in there. You had the 40-year-old Scotch, right? I mean, there's some pretty monstrous pours in here, guys. So I am extremely appreciative for your generosity. Thank you for letting me into your bar. Thank you for letting me tap into some of your favorite whiskeys. And I appreciate all your generosity there, everybody. And also, I will admit, also the timeliness for a lot of you guys who had your pours into me by early November. I appreciate that because I've mentioned this time again on the channel. I have baked in dry days, so if these started showing up on my doorstep on December 1st, we would have had a problem because I didn't really want to have to drink whiskey 25 days in a row. Just sort of personal choice there. I like to keep my dry days as non-negotiables. So thank you for your mindfulness of that. Appreciate it.
That was one of the things that we worked on from the get-go, is to have things sent out as best as possible by Halloween.
And I appreciate it. Really do.
Behind the scenes you didn't see.
No. The No Ryan
now,
room, I have never gone in there. I have never gone in there.
And that is, honestly, that is one of the best creations we've ever had, because we've had some very solid discussions on setting up different pour options to send to you,
Yeah.
and different blinds after this for you to have fun with.
Yeah.
So you've got some fun stuff coming your way.
I've got some fun stuff already here too. Because we did this series for the whole month of December, I've had to push pause on everything that's come in. I've got a blind from Country Giraffe. I've got who else? I've got another blind as well. I've got like 6 pours from Randy that came in. I've got some from John from limited releases from Westward. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I got to get through, so I'm going to be playing catch up. So we got plenty of content for the month of January. I got to say that. So.
Oh, dude, you've got enough for Q1. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's right.
So now, after you have had the chance to catch up on days 1 through 24, are you ready to hear what day 25's pours are?
I didn't do full pours here. Let me just do a quick revisit and refresh my mind on these individually. And maybe in the spirit of the series, I should take some swings.
I'll lead you in on that.
Pour 1 is craft whiskey double oaked bourbon. Pour 2 is a bit of a mixed mash bill. I think it's heavier on the corn, but I think it's a bit of a mixed mash bill. Slightly elevated proof from 1, but less oak influence.
Okay.
Pour 3's got a lot more charred oak influence on it, no doubt. and I think slightly elevated proof point as well. I think I said my scores were 7.0, 7.4, 7.9. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I don't know what 1 or 2 are, but 3 is JD. I know I said that and was wrong on 424 because it ended up being Russell's. But I think that I'm thinking Lincoln County process, Tennessee whiskey, specifically JD profile on 4-3. There you go.
Okay.
Lay it on me. What we got?
All 3 of those samples
Mm-hmm.
are from 2025.
Okay.
A, B, C. Jack 10, 12, and 14.
No
In
shot.
order. Straight up.
10, 12, 14. In that order. A, B, C.
Yep. You've got 97, 107, and 126.3.
Okay. 97 to 107. Slightly elevated proof point. Plus 10. Yeah. That makes sense.
And then 107 to 126.3.
So when I made the comment that this one's nosing way different than the last one, and then I said, watch, you just gave me the same thing 3 times in a row. It was kind of close.
Yep. You do not understand how much I had to bite my tongue when you start saying those things.
I can see it now, though. But it's interesting because I had the 14 from this year when Anthony Welsh came to town. Welsh came to town, visited me. He's one of the few guys in the Discord who's been in my home. But he came in. We hung out in my kitchen at the island, and he busted out the JD14. And he had not cracked his own bottle open. He wanted to wait and crack it open with me, which means a lot to me. That's pretty meaningful to me, right? When you save a bottle that you've been looking forward to and you finally get your hands on it and you choose specifically not to open it and try it yourself, but to wait until you drive to the other side of the state to crack it open with me, that meant a lot to me. So I appreciate him for that. But anyways, I tried it then. And loved it. He then poured a little sample of it so I could do a video for the channel. So I did the JD14 review on the channel courtesy of his bottle. I scored it higher than the 12 initially. But I mentioned it. I don't recall when I did this. But I mentioned after the fact that I think I changed my mind and liked the 12 better. And then now, in the blind, we flip-flop again. And the 14 ended up getting the highest score. But it's kind of funny we had these small incremental jumps there. 7.0, 7.4, 7.9, right? That's great.
And they're appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, the samples that you have are the fresh cracks from each of them.
Oh, okay. How about that? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Unless you're like, I hate neck pours, give them to Ryan.
It is not that at all. I knew where they were going to go and when the time was right. And this advent was the time.
I appreciate that. So, some that finished in the top 5 that probably would have been guessed to have finished in the top 5. But also, a couple pours that were dark horses, specifically the Old Potrero from San Francisco, the malted rye whiskey. That one was our first place. That was the 8.5, highest rated in the series. And then it was the Pour 14, 8.4, right? That was the Filibuster, right?
Yep.
Triple cask. Those are the 2 dark horses I think that really stand out. Tanyard Hill, I think everyone probably would have expected that one, especially with my palate, to score as well as it did, and it did.
Yeah.
And probably the Bottle Your Own.
The Russells and the BYO. Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty expected, I would think, for my palate.
Of the top 5, you had 3 dark horses.
The Journeyman?
The Journeyman was the 5th.
That was 5th. Yeah, that's right.
at the 8.2.
And that was the 155 proof, right? That was the one that tried to kill me. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Dynamite pours. Again, let me express my gratitude to everybody who participated, sent in pours. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, Greg, for your contribution. I know that it's asking a lot to be actively involved every day for 25 days straight. So I appreciate that. Updating the spreadsheet every day, updating the scores, the pictures for everybody, all that stuff. I really appreciate your input there. Thank you.
It has been a pleasure. I would also like to echo that because everyone in the group that stepped up and was willing to work through everything to send the pours, send the samples, and to work together so well to make sure we didn't double dip on anything. It
Yeah.
was truly a blessing to work with each and every one of you. I appreciate your understanding and your willingness to work within the timelines that we needed
Yeah.
to to get Ryan everything in the appropriate amount of time to be able to do this and still remain healthy.
And thanks for putting the rye in Ryan. Uh, literally putting rye whiskey in Ryan. I appreciate that. And with that, please give us your feedback on the series, what you would like to see changed next year so that we can pre-plan and get things situated early on for next year as well. And on that vein, everybody, if you have a pour, raise it to the screen. If you don't have a pour, pause the video, pour a pour, and come back. You got your booze? Excellent. Cheers, my friends. Here is to your health, to your wellness, to a brand new year. May God bless the work of your hands. May your family thrive. May your relationships deepen. May the love that you have with the people around you get stronger. May you live richly, my friends, and get better with age. And I will catch you. Let me hit it in the next year. Bye-bye.